ultrasound market was valued at whopping 8.65 billion.
Billion.
Yes,
That's right.
billion.
Yep. That number has increased year after year. I just hate the old school, and people do it to me when I'm buying equipment. They'll say, our goal is to solve problems. Some wholesalers that dread when we want to buy certain things. We're critical because we can't buy junk. Be a pleasant test. Because of course we're going to ask for the order, but you could do it in a way that our secret sauce is that we're not going to be the least expensive. Never. I went to a prominent psychiatrist in Chicago. After like 3 questions, she said, "I'm pretty sure your wife was right, Keith." So I had undiagnosed ADHD from the time I was in kindergarten. But I also think that I don't get bored easily. And it's a gift, especially in sales. Big lesson I learned, Michael, is do not take it personally when you are feeling rejected.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of RedNote Podcast. And before we start, I just want to do a quick reminder that each second Monday we publish at 7 a.m. so you can kickstart your week with some advice from our guests. And today, with no hesitation, I would like to present you to Keith Rubenstein. How are you, Keith?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good to have you here.
Thanks for bringing me back to the city.
Yeah, I know. How was it right?
It's Chicago, I'll leave it at that. Yeah. But I just love being back here every time I come back. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so for those people who might not know you, can you actually tell us a little bit more about yourself and what do you do and what kind of company you run?
Happy to. I think people are going to be absolutely fascinated. But I'm telling you, I'm the most interesting guy in my mind. No, just kidding. I'm a 57-year-old guy. I like to say I'm a man of faith, a father of 4, amazing kids, a husband, a diehard Bears fanatic, Bob Dylan freak, music guy, and I own a business.
And what kind of business is that?
I am in the diagnostic medical ultrasound sector. It's an imaging modality. And what Redstone Healthcare does is we source new and refurbished equipment around the world. And we've got salespeople, and they go in and hopefully present a compelling case for physicians and hospitals why they should buy from us. And we do service, and we're growing into some other new niches. Yep.
Soon, right?
Yeah, very soon, in fact. Yeah.
Love it. So, actually, I would like to focus a little bit more on, I do know that I actually been to your office.
Yes.
And I saw a lot of awards from this company, DOTmed, and that you're top 100 sellers on that website. So are those international, local, or what kind of
Good question. So in the third-party industry, which is what we are part of, you have traditionally the OEMs or the manufacturers. Let's say the Philips, the Siemens, the GE, Toshiba, now Canon. Then you have companies like ours that are on the other side. We're called third-party. So meaning we can sell a variety of their equipment plus others and do service. So kind of the main group that I don't want to say overseas, but that you want to be a member of is DOTmed. And they have over 2,500 global companies that do what we do in other aspects of medical, not just ultrasound.
Yeah.
And what they do is every year they pick a top 100. They pick 100 companies from around the world, and it's based on customer feedback and satisfaction. It's based on interaction, how well you use or don't use the site, and it's credibility. And we're very proud that We started in February of 2014 in my garage.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years it's been. We've earned that award every year.
Oh, wow. Every year.
Every year, yeah. It feels good. I mean, I've got a great team and try to do things right.
I see. And so here's a tricky question. What was the best revenue?
Our years for our company?
Yeah.
That is a very tricky question.
I mean, if I'm not from IRS, so if you don't want to...
No. It's fine. Let's just say that...
give us the range.
It was enough to
buy...
pay for a few Boston college tuitions. It was good.
Good. Okay.
I've got 3 of my 4 kids at Boston College.
Oh, okay.
1 in dental school, 1 in grad school at Northwestern. So let's just say it was a little bit easier to have some money.
I see. So the reason why I'm asking you actually this question, because before we met, I Googled what's the, so the ultrasound market was valued at whopping 8.65 billion.
Billion.
Yes,
That's right.
billion.
Yep.
It's actually a huge number.
It is. And it's not going away anytime soon. That number has increased year after year. During COVID, of course, it lagged, but it's since come back up because clinicians and companies are finding more and more uses for ultrasound. I mean, now you have family practitioners buying it because they're getting reimbursed. You have people in the military using it on the battlefields, the Shed Aquarium here in Chicago. So it's a growing market. And out of that $8.6 billion, Redstone Healthcare has 0.0000000 times 100 probably of that. All we need is our little share. That's it. And we will continue to grow and do it organically and some other ways. Yeah.
So you mentioned military. Have you ever sold to military companies? And
I have. Yeah. So I used to be out in the field. That's how I learned the industry. So I'd put a nice suit on like you and sell here in the Chicagoland area. And I worked for Philips for a lot of years. And one of our good customers was called Heinz VA. And the way the VAs used to do it, or veteran hospitals, they send out a quote-unquote bid. This is how business is done where you're from and in Europe. I mean, everything is a bid. And you have to fill out paperwork. And anyways, if you have a relationship, doesn't matter what's on that bid, you're going to get the deal.
So relationship over the price?
Well, let me backtrack. Back in the day when I was there. Now, I don't know the rules anymore if different companies have to come in and demonstrate the equipment, because now what happens is companies like GE have bought so many companies. And not just ultrasound. If you think about a hospital, GE sells MRI, CAT scan, X-ray, nuclear medicine, ultrasound, patient monitors, laboratory equipment, beds. So they go into the CFO, into the C-suite, and they say, you know what, yeah, you're working with ultrasound, you're looking at 3 machines, but you're also looking at spending potentially $35 million this year. We can do it all.
I see.
So when it's done right, it's great. But other companies like Philips and Siemens, and now Canon, Toshiba, try that approach. And usually GE ends up winning.
So they basically have a monopoly?
No.
Not a monopoly?
They just have the breadth of experience, and they know how to. So they'll go into a hospital, and they'll have an account executive. Kind of like, are you familiar with American football?
Yes, I am.
The quarterback, right?
Quarterback, okay.
So the quarterback goes into, let's say, Northwestern. And and they say it's fiscal year 2025, I'm going to go find out who is buying what the budgets are, and I will relay this information. This is really how it is, to the CT rep, ultrasound rep, MR rep, patient monitoring rep. Then there's another liaison. This person often, kid you not, has an office in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Because they do that much business.
Oh, by himself.
Can you
He has
imagine?
his own
The
office.
company does. Yeah. So like if you go into biomedical engineering, GE, Siemens, Philips repair equipment. And a lot of times they take over these departments. So I guess my point is, where I'm trying to go with this, Redstone Healthcare, hospitals are not our market.
Not your market. Okay.
No.
Too big?
No, it's too much work.
Too much work.
Way too much work, because we've commoditized in many ways. And we offer clinicians real clinical solutions at a fraction of the price.
Okay.
With no bias.
Oh, okay.
Do you like Philips? And if we have access to Philips, when we don't have access to certain products, we tell them. And if what, let's say, a clinic in Georgia wants, even if it's in stock, our philosophy is never sell because we want to sell. Because we don't always have the right fit. And you just want to walk out of every account with that feeling of being ethical and honest. And I just hate the old school. And people do it to me when I'm buying equipment. They'll say, Keith, wait a minute. We only have 3 of these left. And, 9 companies around the world, they're going to buy it. And I tell them, then you have to sell it. If it's meant to be, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
But we don't have any pressure. We teach our salespeople that. We call that used car selling.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to, push really hard and oversell, I would say so, or like you are tailoring your solution according to the customer needs.
That's exactly it. Our goal is to solve problems. Because if our sales team and myself are not asking questions, let's say you're a doctor, Keith, I'm interested in an ultrasound, right? Oh, doctor, what kind of practice? You say I'm an OBGYN. Let me tell you what we have. And I start just vomiting at the mouth, right? After about a minute, you're not paying attention anymore.
Yeah.
But if I say, doctor, so, what are you using now? What do you like about it? What would you improve? What do you think your patients want to see? What type of budget? Are you open to refurbished? Have you had any experience with not new? And you get them talking and you shut up.
I see.
You want to speak less and listen more. And many people just in sales in general, for some reason, don't have that approach. They think the more we talk, the more people are going to listen and spend money. I haven't found that to be true.
You're like advisors, right? For those people.
Yeah, 100%. We're consultants. We get asked almost every day, Redstone, what do you suggest? We have a clinic we just had one. It's a big cardiology practice in Sacramento, California. They told us the equipment they have. They told us some of the issues they've had with one of the vendors. They said what they want to do. They asked us if they can do billing. And they literally said, what products do you suggest? And having that information allowed us to say, you know what? Can I have 24 hours? Let me come back to you with a few things. Now there's intrigue because the ball's now in our court. Versus, the worst thing that happens is people will call the office every day, email us, hey, I need a price for this, and I'll send it off to different reps. What's this price? anytime you do that in a business like ours, which is, we're an online business, but with feet on the street, right? And let's say, you remember you learned about transducers?
Yes.
Somebody says, I'm looking for an RAB 6-RS. So Henry in my office says, Keith, how much? And I give him a price and he quotes it. Most likely, that customer says, all right, thank you, Redstone. Let's call around. But you got to build that quick rapport. And those are the ones you do want to close fast. The small, they're ready to buy, you know.
And how do you know that they're like small and ready to buy, or it's more like a California, some sort of clinics, and they're looking for more like advanced approach?
Just by questioning. There is a guy named Al Patey, Patey, and he's in, I want to say, Vancouver, Washington, somewhere in that area. When I worked for Philips, he did sales trainings, and he came up with a system called sales mastery or spin selling. And the whole purpose is what I mentioned earlier. You are there like I don't know who a modern day detective you would know in pop culture would be, but like Columbo was big growing up. You're asking questions, and you stop and you listen. And when you're on the phone or on email, you do the same thing.
Okay, so you're asking questions.
You're asking more than them. Absolutely. Because anyone who's buying anything, there's a problem. You're solving a problem when you buy. Even with my collection of G-Shock watches, right?
Yep.
The problem may be, as a collector, I'm not going to be able to get this one, this price, for who knows how long, right?
Yes.
Or I've saved up, I want it, or this one broke. And that's a very small example, but Al taught us that whenever someone buys, you're there to fix the problem. Solution selling.
And how do you keep those, like, I'm not a big fan of this word, but accounts. How do you keep those accounts like in your portfolio and not letting them leave,
Okay. That's a great question. And, I came into the industry in 1998, stayed at Philips for 10 years, went to a startup in California called Zonare Medical Systems, where they invented a 5-pound machine that imaged like a 500-pound machine, right? So the point is, and then after that, 4 years, I had a partner, left, went on my own, started a company like Redstone for many years. Then in 2014 did this. So from 98 until now, I've made global connections, wonderful relationships. I have salespeople. They have relationships. Your company, we're known in the industry, right? But never, ever assume that anybody is our customer.
Oh.
Nobody owns an account. Nobody owns a clinic. Now, they get service contracts and they're bound to you that way, but anybody could buy from whoever they want. The good news is we have a very high percentage of repeat business. Most of it's actually referrals. Yeah.
Okay, so people are coming to you because they'll
come to customers of ours around the country. Say, hey, you know what? We're opening up a pain clinic. Who sells ultrasound? I don't even know. A lot of times they'll just say, oh, Redstone Healthcare. Ask for my friend Keith. Either he'll put you in touch with the rep, or you know what? Maybe he'll even help you, which I love doing.
I see. I actually now I understand the business a little bit better, because when you mentioned that you're not competing with those large companies like a GE, Accuzon, Siemens, because your potential and end client is like those people who are maybe looking for some refurbished or used
Yeah,
equipment?
absolutely. I don't like the word used.
Okay. Yes.
Oh,
Refurbished.
yeah, yes, because some companies do sell used,
Mm-hmm.
and the connotation to used to me just,
Ah,
right?
was used really heavy, and
Yeah,
then
that's what they say. Used as is working.
mm-hmm.
We say reconditioned, refurbished. I love the word pre-owned with a warranty.
Mm-hmm.
And you're exactly right. When I was at Philips and Zanari, and the type of accounts that we sell to now
Mm-hmm.
were interested, I didn't jump out of bed to go sell them because the margins were smaller. You couldn't make as much commission. Whereas Mount Sinai in Chicago might be buying 10 machines. I want to spend and that's how these other companies are. So there's a huge percentage of the ultrasound population in the U.S. that's neglected. Really.
So people may want to buy, but for them, and it's either too expensive or not reliable, or and at the same time, a lot of like reps, they don't want to communicate to those people because it could be like one machine, two machines, maybe like a small commission, and they're not interested in small commissions. They're interested in like high counts, and then those people, they go to people like you now, and they buy from you, right?
Well,
Or,
yeah. So I think I know where you're going with this. Our market is not just clinicians.
Yes.
Our market are companies just like ours. Just that we buy and sell to each other all the time. So I may buy a machine from a company in North Carolina and then sell it to a company in Texas.
Oh.
Simply brokering. Because we know pretty much globally who has what in stock and when. So it's helpful in the sense that we don't necessarily have to fork out thousands, tens of thousands for inventory. But on the flip side, when you have inventory, it sells.
I see. So do not keep inventory that
No,
much.
we do keep
that much
it, but we've kept it at a minimum.
on a low. Okay.
Yeah, we have enough to be dangerous, but again, the relationships we have, especially when it's an end user sale.
Yes.
We know a company that might have the perfect machine, and I know how much it'll be. So we can work with that. But we are looking to expand the whole business.
I see. And so also, I guess, again, my guess, the reason why you're not keeping that much or that many machines, because technologies, they're evolving, and this machine might go out of the market. Nope.
No.
Not possible.
It is possible. There are systems that we get offered all the time at crazy low prices, but we know no one's going to buy them. Parts are obsolete. But the average machine, 10 to 15 years.
Leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
15 years.
And you could buy a machine, never sell it, but our service people can take parts off of it.
Smart.
We're always selling parts.
Smart.
You could use machines to test ultrasound transducers because, as you know, we buy 50 at a time, and you need to be able to test them. Yeah.
Oh, why do you test them, not the other person who is selling them to you testing?
Oh, they do.
They do.
That's why we're a DOTmed Top 100 company.
Because you retest them
Yeah.
and make sure.
In fact, there's some wholesalers that dread when we want to buy certain things. They really do, because they say Redstone's a pain in the butt. We're critical because we can't buy junk.
Yeah.
We could buy product and refurbish it. But yeah, so we're a little bit tougher.
Tougher.
Yeah.
And this is your secret sauce.
It's not a secret sauce. It's just we want to give the best product to our customers possibly. Our secret sauce is that we're not going to be the least expensive. Never. And we tell end users right up front, If we get a sense they're just shopping the internet, I'll say, are you looking for the least expensive solution? When they say yes, immediately, it's not us. It's just not us. And when you walk away, it exudes confidence on your part. And a lot of times they don't come back. They were telling the truth. But then there's other times where they say, you know what, Keith, we looked and the price wasn't that much different. And it seems like you have a solution to our service needs because we were able to maybe provide someone in Montana. You know what I mean?
Yes. You're not desperate. You're not being desperate.
Nope.
So, and people feel it.
They feel it. And that's something I learned working at Philips. At the end of every quarter, if you're aggressive and you go into these hospital offices, these administrators, I remember a vice president, Alan, telling me, hey, Ruby, they know you're desperate. They know you're trying to make your number. They know you're pushing. Maybe don't push. Go in, check. And he said, I was the best pleasant pest in the industry. And I love that. And I teach my salespeople that. Be a pleasant pest. You know, because of course we're going to ask for the order, but you could do it in a way that isn't, I need it by 5 p.m. or the price goes up, you know?
Yes, I see. So do not be desperate. Like,
never
project the confidence.
Yeah, just be yourself, you know,
but
have a smile, be positive.
So you just, can you actually tell us a little bit more about your, like, when you, like, your early years and you walk into the hospital, what's your, like, line of, what was your strategy?
I'll tell you, my first job out of school, I moved to Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in northeastern Ohio.
Okay.
Moved home, and two of my high school friends and I were like, we have got to get out of this town. This is terrible. So we each moved to Cleveland, and within like 2 weeks, we had jobs. My job was with a company called ProNet Medical Communications. And this is definitely before your time, but do you know the pager or the beeper?
Pager. Yeah, pagers. Like
people, we would wear them on the belt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like beep, beep, beep. And then like an LED number.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways, ProNet out of Plano, Texas, built a niche where they rented a hospital frequency, right? They called it a medical frequency. And we only sold to hospitals. So I remember, you know, we'd say, oh, the pager you're looking at from Verizon at the time. You know, they sell to everybody. Doctor, you need a quick, instant page. Okay. So they send me away to Plano for training. Okay. This is my first sales job. And after the first day in a classroom, I actually called my father and I was crying. Yeah. I said, Dad, I do not understand what they're talking about. They're talking about frequencies and waves and modulation and this and that. And they even got into some anatomy, and I was freaking out.
Yes.
And I said, Dad, I want to leave and go work at a record store.
Okay.
Here's why. In 2012, my wife, Susan, in a very loving, kind way, said, honey, I just want to ask you a question. Why is it when I ask you to go to the grocery store and you're always willing, which is great, and I give you 5 things, 3 are wrong, and it takes you 3 to 5 hours? I said, I don't know. I love talking to people. I'm distracted. I don't know. She said, would you consider getting tested for ADHD?
Oh, okay.
For some reason, I did. And I went to a prominent psychiatrist in Chicago. Even before any test was administered, after like 3 questions, she said, I'm pretty sure your wife was right, Keith. Let's just... So I had undiagnosed ADHD from the time I was in kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
until 2012.
And it developed.
Yeah. So the thought of learning the way people were taught, I never was able to do that. I, growing up, would be in a classroom, and I'm sure, Michael, you would be raising your hand in geometry, not only answering questions, but asking questions.
Okay.
And I swear to you, I would sit there with resentment and anger and self-pity. How does he understand this? How do these people get this? Well, I didn't know what ADHD was. So I found ways to compensate, let's say. I got out of class. I was a joker, a clown.
Okay.
When I got into sales, though, it was a gift from God. It was natural, right? Now, the learning part, it is what it is. So to go all the way back to your question, to answer it, I believe in the style of training just called getting thrown out to the wolves. You take a new rep, you give them enough information, and you say, go sell.
I see.
And in 6 months, we'll review and we'll put you through a formal training. The best way I've ever learned is by losing deals, by messing up, by angering people, by doing all the wrong things, right? And that's how a lot of our salespeople will support them. Don't get me wrong, but you're only going to learn when you're doing it.
When you're persevere.
Yeah.
And you're pushing hard yourself.
Right.
And it's always like uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. And I want to go back quickly. So with this undiagnosed ADHD, our brains work differently, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
can you explain this point? Because I'm sure a lot of viewers don't know how it works.
Yeah. Our chemical makeup in the brain, if you took an MRI of the brain, would just show different brain waves, right? It has nothing to do with intelligence. Nothing. It has to do with how we learn and our attention span. I happen to have an aversion to time. Like, time is a real challenge, time management, right? I get lost. I could leave here, it's Saturday, and just start walking, right? Drifting, going in and out of places, and forget that my daughter Sydney's at home and I have to drive her back. You know what I mean? Like, so it takes a lot of work. And I have a lot of tools now I use, like little alarms on my phone, stickies, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah. But here's just, I'll throw it out there. I'm a savant in one way. I could tell you about every single deal almost that I've ever done. I could tell you customers' names, prices. Get me out of the work environment, it's not really the same. The short-term memory's bad. So I think a lot of it has to do with being interested. And I love running a company's fine. It's blah, blah. I love sales. I love the art of what it is.
So you're like sales guy. You're like sales guy. You're like 100%.
I just like relationships. I like marketing. I like solving problems,
talking to people, getting them know better.
Exactly. I love people. And the older I get, the more I realize that, you want to make money, obviously. We're entrepreneurs, but there's just so many more important things in life than things,
Well, so, and I have a question for you because, you mentioned the short memory because for me, in my case, when I work on, because, today we're getting distracted so fast and so easily, especially like my generation or like way younger generation, like TikTok, Instagram, all this like vertical content, it's like you're just scrolling, getting the dopamine. And so for me, let's say when I work, I can get distracted really easily and like do the other stuff, and then I realize, okay, well, wait, I have to do this stuff,
Right.
right? But is it an ADHD or it's just like the regular
That's a
distraction?
great question, and I'm no expert on ADHD by any means,
Mm-hmm.
except I could tell you many people in my family. I have 2 children,
Mm-hmm.
and they're exceptional students, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a matter of where society is.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say quickly, last night I went to a play
Mm-hmm.
called Our Town.
Okay.
I guess I could act like I'm some local Chicago artsy guy. I go to plays and musicals and museums. No, I went to see a friend in a play, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Our Town. And it has to do with exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fictional tale of a few families in a New Hampshire small town in 1901,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the whole point of it was, even without all the technology, and this was written in 1939, by the way, even without everything you were talking about, the scrolling, the technology, the flashing lights, right? People still got wrapped up in their thoughts, in other people's business, in the pursuit of buying and having, where they were even missing out on the small things, right? I think it's something through time.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie just really hit me. It was beautiful. I basically learned from it all that other stuff that we scroll and look at. If I could just cut it in half, just cut it by 10% a day, right? And brush my teeth
Mm-hmm.
and not have to watch a video or listen to music and just kind of be in the moment, then I'm going to be more present for my family, my customers, and myself. It's so easy to get wrapped up in that stuff, and it's normal, but it takes work.
So you're saying even like in 1909, people were distracted,
Yeah.
and it's totally okay. It's like more humane kind
Yeah.
of thing than
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, there was a scene last night, a high school boy and a high school girl, and they had ladders, and they would go to the top, and it was to represent looking out the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And against the wall, there was a bright light, and you saw the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And in the audience, the moon looked beautiful. It was easy to focus on it and kind of take a breath and say, wow. But these two were just talking and talking until I think an owl made a sound. Ooh, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl said, wait, stop. Did you hear that? And they paused and they just didn't say anything, but they took in the sound of the owl, and they noticed, the beautiful moon. And the whole point to me was, man, it's the little things. We miss so much. We miss so much.
By scrolling TikTok or
Yeah.
you know.
And just by being wrapped up in ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
It's a very me-driven society for a lot of people. And I find that when I get out of myself and I'm of service to others, oh my gosh, I feel the best. I'm not worrying about my own insanity, help someone else with theirs.
I mean, this is how you help people.
Yeah, you're helping me. You asked me to do this. It's an honor.
Well, you're helping me.
Well, good.
Not helping. Well, but actually, thank you for being here, because I think your experience and your huge knowledge in sales, it can potentially be really helpful for many like young people, or even for people who are like, that our audience, what I found out yesterday, 44% is from 25 to 34.
Oh, wow.
So, and like 96.8 is male.
Of course. Yeah. I can see that.
So, but I think it's really like this experience that you're saying when you're saying that you should, well, not serve, but, trying to solve people's problem.
Yeah.
Do not be discouraged, or do not try push too hard.
Right.
Well.
And a big lesson I learned, Michael, is do not take it personally when you are feeling rejected. And I'll give you a quick example if I have a minute.
Of course you do.
I'm trying to get a hold, let's say, of an administrator, right? And they're not getting back to me, and they're not answering. My mind will immediately go to the most catastrophic place, like, okay, well, they bought from someone else, or I did something. I reel it back in, and I pause, and I remember. Our job every day is to solve problems and sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
This administrator's job is 55 other things, and buying an ultrasound machine is part of it, right? So it's not on the top of people's heads like it is with us or anybody selling. So you have to be able to meet people where they are. And, you know, when they're not getting back to you, you have to know how to do that dance. You don't, like we talked earlier, you don't want to be real aggressive. And when they know you're desperate, that price is going to go down, you know?
But how do you do this dance? How do you dance with them? Do you just wait?
No, I don't think it's anything you can learn except by having done it. Like, there's no method I could teach anybody, right? It's just, it's a feeling. It's a sixth sense. Like, it's like when you're at a party in a social situation, right? And you see a group of people talking. You know, if you're not part of it, it's knowing how to kind of ease yourself in and get to know some people. Someone may not say hi to you, right?
Yeah, which is okay.
It's okay, of course. They probably didn't notice you. People are not thinking about us. I meet so many people, younger people too, that are really concerned about what others think about them. And I think that's very normal. I was for most of my life until I learned that people don't sit thinking about Keith.
Yes.
People aren't talking about us. In fact, most people generally just want to know someone that's nice. You know, they don't really care about what you do or who you know or.
People overthink a lot.
Oh, our society does.
Especially with social media. Like, it's always you're getting infused with this, like, you know, feeling. Either you didn't accomplish enough,
right,
or you're not looking in the proper way.
I'm telling you, and you nailed it. And I'll tell you, growing up, I have one child left in high school, Michael. I remember all the girls when they were all at home, they'd always be doing selfies, right? And I said, Lucy, one thing is, I made a vow, I will never make fun of their music, their styles, social media, because I don't want to be that dad. But I did say, why do you girls like always take selfies? I didn't know. They said, Dad, because we have to.
Oh, okay.
And it just broke my heart. I said, what do you mean you have to? They said, you want likes. We want to be liked. This is what kids do.
Like a social.
Yeah. I mean, talk about pressure for young girls to have to look their best. And, you know, I don't know if this is before your time or after, but like, what are they? Groups,
yeah.
Like when I was growing up, it was like cliques, they called it, or friends.
Are you talking about like this app? Right?
No. Like, like in the U.S.
Okay.
Ella, my daughter in high school, she's part of a friend group.
Oh, okay.
And they're not exclusive, but these groups do tend to socialize with each other.
Oh, okay. I see.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, okay.
Like when I was growing up, looking back, I didn't think I had friends. I had so many different, you know, jocks, what we call burnouts, the kids that were drinking at a young age.
All right.
You know, my best friend, Tom, was the valedictorian, and I was his best man at his wedding in Italy. He ended up working for UBS, I think.
Bank, probably.
Yeah,
Bank.
in Hong Kong, right? He's still there. One of my other best friends was Rich Cook. Moved to Cleveland with him and another kid. He was 156 out of 156 in our class. and he became a house painter.
Oh,
You know what? He's probably happier than Tom. So I hate, like, back in the day, but it's true. It just seemed like it wasn't as tight-knit as a lot of the groups are for kids today.
yeah. I mean, today, especially like for young people, this meme that basically when you get to the point when you're 25, your either options to socialize is like running club, Hyrex. It's like a fancy workout
Yeah.
thing, or like so. It's like you have this limited amount of social tools how to socialize,
Yeah.
and people are getting so stuck if they're not being like social enough.
Right. I get it. I'll tell you, I won't name the social media site, but let's just say there's a famous business networking site out there that everyone uses pretty much that I know, and
In the US or
it's online. It's global.
okay, global. Okay.
I just don't want to get a potential lawsuit, but this is just my opinion. I can't stand it, right? I have a weird resentment against it because I feel that when I go on there, all I see are people from the industry I'm in rah-rahing themselves. We're at this conference. Look at us. Look how great we are. I mean, it's like,
Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what kind of
Right.
app you're talking about.
Yeah. And in fact, I'm going to make a documentary someday. This is a dream, no joke. And it's going to be about that app and about a young person who says, I'm going to start a company, right? This app has people from all over the world emailing me. They could do my website for such little money. This person can grow my revenues. This person can help me buy inventory. And the whole point of the documentary, it's going to be real. They're going to try to do it. And you're going to just see like Zoom calls, right? Call after call. And then you're going to see the guy at his desk like this. And then nobody at the screen, or somebody, from Saudi Arabia talking 1,000,000 miles an hour. And the guy, nothing's going to happen. And that's kind of my feeling about that whole site. I think it's a lot of fluff.
I see.
I mean, I get bombarded daily, which is fine. I know that's what people need to do, but I've not found any good use for it.
Yeah, so
My
Like,
2 cents.
I see. Like it's a lot of people who are trying to do the business, but they actually have no skills. Or either they didn't get to that stage yet, and they're, what I find, and what distracts a lot of like people who are successful. So the problems that
Thank you.
actually, those are really people who are like talking to you, who are
Yeah.
communicating to you. They are not being responsive, and they're not being responsible for what they're saying to you. And when they have to show up, let's say you are scheduling a meeting with a person, right? Well, I'm not talking about you with ADHD.
No,
because, like it's other thing. But let's say if you're like, you have this meeting, you have to show up, and let's say you're doing commute, you're spending your time, and then this person is not showing up. It's actually a really bad sign.
Oh, yeah. We have a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And I've noticed with him, he'll set up and give you all the time in the world. Just be respectful and be on time.
Yeah.
Right? And even with ADHD, something I learned a long time ago, you don't want to be late. Show up. Even if you're frazzled, your hair's a mess, just show up. Because like you said, people's time is valuable. And it's, again, even with ADHD, I'm an adult. I know now, and I've known for years, leave earlier. Now, today, I didn't think that Irving Park traffic would be what it was. So kind of talking out of both sides. But you get the point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. It's okay because you kind of, I mean, in our case, I know, well, I was, you're always being ready for
Yeah.
people that something goes wrong,
Oh, yeah.
and I think it's part of the business too.
It's life, right?
Yeah.
Things, I love, like I said, Bob Dylan, and he has a line in a song, and he just said, things in life just never seem to go as planned, and then blah, blah. And it's really true. I mean, we could do our best to have a daily plan, right? And I do write everything out, and I use different apps, but things are going to knock you off that beam, right? Stuff's going to come up all the time. And it's what I've found. It's my reaction is what matters. Not necessarily my solution, but just how I respond to times of
Uncertainty,
like challenges, difficult people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like circle back a little bit to ADHD and actually ask you. Also, you mentioned that you went to this psychiatrist at what, like 2014?
12.
Okay, so but before, did you know that you have ADHD? Did you feel that something is wrong?
Oh, I felt it was very challenging. I went to some other, when I got into ultrasound, for example, and that's where I learned to get thrown in the field at Phillips for 6 months. And by the way, I got thrown into the field, sold one machine, went to training, did the same thing. I freaked out because there was so much anatomy and there was so much physics about the way the technology works. I was having panic attacks, right? But I got through it. And I ended up winning a Rolex that year as Rookie of the Year. Because what I found was these companies, they're going to teach you what they think you should know. But in reality is, and I still say it to this day, doctor, don't ask. I don't even know how to turn it on. I don't know how to work these, you know what I mean? Like, but let's talk about what you need, and I could tell you what it does. I'm not going to tell you how, and nobody ever asks, how does it do that? So I struggled, man. I never felt like I fit in, to be honest. I was called, this is a funny expression, I became an egomaniac, right? But with an inferiority complex. So I felt like, even in high school, like I had to be macho and cool and tough. But on the inside, man, I felt like these kids are so much smarter than me. Like I'm nothing. Even in college, I was president of the fraternity and of political groups and student government, and I excelled on the social side, but the learning side. So when I got diagnosed, it was like a massive weight was just lifted. It's like, wow.
That actually helped you.
Oh, it helped me so much. And guess what? It's a blessing. Honest to goodness, I'm thankful I have ADHD. I really am. It gives me a very unique perspective, way of looking at things. It does make things more challenging, but I also think that I don't get bored easily, you know? And it's a gift, especially in sales.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, because without this disorder, you wouldn't be yourself.
No, I wouldn't. I will never, ever, and this is part of the reason I'm an entrepreneur. I do have a challenging time following the rules to a T, 9 to 5. Here's my briefcase, my suit and tie. What's the newest policy? When I was in the field for these companies, I was doing such creative selling, bundling other companies' equipment, right? Just so they would buy ours all over Chicago. And eventually the companies were like, you can't do that. You have to sell just our product. And I said, okay. And then eventually I said, I'm going to do this on my own. I want people to have what they want. I don't want to be working for X company going, well, Dr. Michael, but, here's why this is the best ultrasound. Now, you know what, Doc? You're right. They're all kind of good. Which one of these is going to be best for you, though?
Like personal approach.
Yeah.
And
A lot of times I'll tell customers when they ask me to describe the company, I say, think of canals, the nice dealership in the northern suburbs, BMW, Mercedes. There's this new brand I never even knew existed. What is it? They're so cool. They look like these
like a Jeep,
Land Rover.
Land Rover, old
Yes.
Land Rover. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I have no clue what.
Yeah.
What
Oh
the
my God.
brand
It was
name.
like, see, here goes the ADHD. I always wanted a Land Cruiser, not a Land Rover, but this kind of looks like the old Toyota Land Cruiser. So cool. Anyways, I say that's what we do, except with ultrasound. Philips is one company, like Lexus. BMW, of course, would be Mercedes or Germany. Yeah. So, yeah, when we're done, we'll look it up.
Well, I actually found it's called Grenadier. Grenadier.
Can I see it?
Yeah. Look, images.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
like
this car.
Yeah. So when I was okay. So the tariffs were going on, right? And I always want to learn, so I went to the Land Cruiser dealership because I just wanted to see how they were dealing with it. So as I was leaving, I walked out. I saw those. And my first thought was, how do I not even know what this is? Am I that out of it? So I'm glad you told me. You didn't even really fully know.
They're actually really expensive. I'm like, well, not.
I would imagine
they're
are.
like 100,000.
Yeah, that's expensive.
I mean, for that type of car.
Are they electric or?
No, they're not. They're just like, I think it's English brand.
Are they owned by?
British, sorry, British. Yeah, they're owned by British company.
Is it British? It's not another manufacturer, is it?
I'm not sure about that, and I'm not sure. But they do look like old Land Rover, and I know what you mean.
I thought by being a guest here, there might be an opportunity to get one to drive for like a year. No? You're not doing that now? Like something Joe Rogan would do?
Well, if we had same amount of followers, I would buy you one. I would buy you one.
And you will.
When we get to the stage, I'll be like, Keith, let's get the car.
Michael, you got it really. I mean, I say this with all sincerity. You should be so proud of what you are doing. At your age, coming to a country that I always joke, us Americans, like we'll move 2 states over maybe, or move to the suburbs. Or You packed up everything and you came to Chicago. You got a job. You're in school. You're networking. You have a podcast. Your family should be so proud of you, man. Really.
Thank you.
I mean it. You're already showing. You're successful.
Doing my little niche thing,
Yeah.
Well, so I would like just a closing question. You mentioned the tariffs. Do they really hit your business?
Yeah, they were. So we buy a lot from China.
Okay.
Right? Oh boy.
Well, we do.
That's on hold right now. The majority of what we buy, though, equipment is from Europe. It's from Greece and France and England and Eastern Europe. And when the tariffs were about to go into effect, as you know, I had a meeting with our mutual friend. We were prepared to buy a whole lot of equipment.
Yes.
And we both decided can't do it. Even though the way we source, we get the best pricing in Europe, it's still not worth it. Now with this 90-day supposed moratorium, it's
they
going to
impose like the stock market goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like 13% down, 7% up. And I think it's like uncertainty. But if you can take advantage, like one of those guys who made like 2 billion and 900 million.
Oh, I'm not going to play that game. No way. You mean like pulling out of the stock? No way.
Nah.
You know why? My father-in-law was very conservative, worked at Northern Trust, an old school bank in Chicago for 40 years. But he had a master's degree in physics from University of Chicago. And that was his real passion, right? But he's like, I have to bank so I can raise kids. And he said to me, right when we got married, Keith, fidelity. Just invest in mutual funds, a couple of stocks. He said, over the years, it's going to go up, 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 then down and up. He said, but in the end, you'll be ahead. And so far, he's been right.
I think it's great advice for young people.
Conservative, right?
Conservative.
I'm a risk taker, but not when it comes to that stuff.
You want to have this, safe haven, I would say.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your advice.
Yeah.
Because I think you have incredible amount of experience in sales. And not only, and I have to tell you, you're one of those people who I'm comfortable sitting here and speaking to.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes when you talk to people, you just feel that you are not connecting.
Oh, absolutely.
And with you, I think we got this.
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
I always say, we get it.
Yes.
Whatever it is, when you connect with someone, you just get it.
Yes.
Although, I'll end it with this really quickly. There's this comedian named Miles Anderson. He's on YouTube.
Okay.
And his whole thing is he's a professional joke explainer.
Yes.
And he's very dry. Just watch it.
Okay, what's the name again?
His name is Miles Anderson. I think he has like 230 followers. And he's not big, but what he does is he'll like explain other comedians' routines and monologues. And he's so dry and funny. He's my thing. I'm just on a huge
of course.
kick.
I mean, we will.
You're going to watch it and tell me what you think.
I will.
All right.
Okay, guys, all links for Keith's business, for his favorite platform, LinkedIn, all down below so you can follow Keith. You can maybe shoot him a message.
Anytime.
I'm not sure. If you're buying the equipment, though, you better do that because this is the guy to buy, and maybe sell your equipment. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Being here.
Thank you.
It was amazing.
Yeah, anybody reach out anytime. I love to help people, especially young people. So
that was amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you, sir. Good job.